Hello, Meg here from I Teach Stamping, and welcome to the Friday Flip. So the Friday Flip is all about taking one project and flipping it into another. Now that doesn't mean that we don't like the initial project, we're just using it as a jumping off point, as an inspiration point to another project. So here's our inspiration card right here, and I love this card, so I want to duplicate it, but in a little bit different way. So let's go ahead and get started with that. So we're going to start with a piece of Whisper White cardstock that's going to be 2 1/4 by 2.5 inches. And I'm using, all the stamps I'm using, by the way, are from the For All Things stamp set from Stampin' Up. So I'm going to start with this one, and I'm going to stamp it in crushed curry ink. And then the next stamping that we're going to do is just on an extra piece of Whisper White cardstock. It can be any size you want as long as it's big enough for the leaf. So we're going to stamp that in that crushed curry, and then the next thing we're going to do is wash it off. So using my Stampin' Scrub and Stampin' Mist, wash it, dry it. And then we're going to transition into that Cajun Craze. We're going to stamp that. Now I'm going to get these ink pads closed before I accidentally stick a stamp in something I don't want to. And we're going to bring in our Stamp-A-Majig and the Always Artichoke ink, and I'm going to line up my sentiment with my imaging sheet, put my T into place, ink this up, and stamp. And then on a piece of crushed curry cardstock, we're going to take this one here in that same artichoke ink and stamp it in the lower left-hand corner. Now there is one thing I forgot to stamp. We're going to go back to that Cajun Craze with that leaf. And we're going to bring in the envelope for this card. So I'm using the note cards and envelopes from Stampin' Up! So you get the cards and the envelopes all in a package. It's a cool little deal. All right, and then we are all done with our stamping and we're ready to do our assembly. So the next thing you're going to want to do is cut out your leaves like I've done ahead of time. So we've got that. And then we're going to bring in our paper piercer along for this layer right here. Just going to line this up using the Essentials Matte Pack and just go round and round and round. Then the back of this is going to get dimensionals. So go ahead and get those in place. Just one in each corner there. Get this peeled off. All right, so let's work from the inside of our card going out. Let me move this out of the way. So the base is going to be that note card. So it already comes pre-cut, pre-scored, ready to go. And we're going to take this piece here. We're going to drop it to the inside of our card. Then for the front of the card, we're going to take a piece of Always Artichoke that's going to be 4 3/4 by 3 1/4, and I ran it through the honeycomb embossing folder and just wrapped a piece of satin ribbon around it, just around to the back side. Then we're going to take a piece of Cajun Craze. It's going to be 2 1/2 by 2 3/4. Drop this over to the left-hand side. And then the dimensionals for this layer are just going to straddle that ribbon just like it did on the inspiration card. So we've got that, and now we're ready to drop in our leaves. So I've got dimensionals on the back side of the Cajun one, but not on top of this one here, or on the back of this one here. And here's why. We want to get our spacing first. They're going to cross over here, but if I put a dimensional on up here, it's going to lay crooked. So I only want to put a dimensional right behind this leaf. You can use regular adhesive if you want to secure the two leaves together, but I like having that little separation there. Then we're going to tie a teeny tiny little bow using linen thread and the 10-second bow maker. If you like to tie teeny tiny little bows but it frustrates you, make sure to get the 10-second bow maker. Alright, so we're just going to tie this into a knot and then pull this off our prongs. Grab our ribbon scissors. And rather than having a knot with silver ribbon like we did on the inspiration card, we've got this cute little bow. I'm just going to use some liquid glue and drop this into place so it looks like our two leaves have been tied together. All right, so I'm going to let that dry. I don't want to pick it up just yet. And so here we go back to our inspiration card. We kept texture on the background. We kept the satin ribbon. We divided the layers just like we did here. Did the paper piercing, so I kept everything that I loved about it. And then used the bow here instead of here. So there we have it, another Friday flip. I don't want it to come apart, but there we go. So if you like this project and you like the Friday flip, please be sure to like it below and also be sure to share it with your friends. And if you like my video tutorials, let me tell you about something real quick. Over at Stamping Family, it's another site where I put my favorite videos of my favorite projects, and I'd love for you to come and be a member with us. So head on over to stampingfamily.com and check us out. Again, I'm Meg from I Teach Stamping and Stamping Family, and I'll see you in the next video tutorial. Have a great day.